Imagine for a moment that you could step through time, not as a pharaoh or a high priest, but as yourself, with your modern mind, your modern sensitivities, your modern expectations of comfort and cleanliness and justice. You wake up not to the sound of an alarm, but to the braying of a donkey and the invasive, omnipresent buzz of flies. The air is already warm, thick with the smell of baking bread, animal dung, drying fish, and the sweet, cloying scent of flowering lotuses, mixed with the pungent odor of human sweat and unrefined oils. This is your first minute in ancient Egypt, and it is a profound sensory shock from which you would likely never recover. You wouldn't last a day, not because of malice, but because of the sheer, unrelenting, mundane weight of existence in a world that operates on principles entirely alien to your own. Let us begin with the most fundamental assault: the sun. The Egyptian sun is not the friendly, moderated sun of a beach holiday. It is a searing, white-hot presence, a god in its own right, Ra, whose gaze is both life-giving and merciless. There is no sunscreen, no sunglasses. Your options for protection are limited. You would likely be given a simple linen kilt if you are a man, or a sheath dress if you are a woman, both made of rough, undyed flax. The wealthy have finer, pleated linen, but you are nobody. The fabric provides some barrier, but it is not enough. Your skin, untanned and unprepared, would redden and blister within hours. You would seek shade, but much of the work, from farming to brickmaking to construction, is done under that relentless sky. And the light reflecting off the pale mud brick walls, off the limestone of monuments, off the very sand, is blinding. Your modern eyes, used to varied focal lengths and artificial twilight, would ache with a profound strain. You'd squint constantly, developing a headache that pulses in time with the thrumming heat. Then there is the thirst, a deep, penetrating thirst that water from the Nile does not fully quench. You would be instructed to drink, and you would see everyone around you drinking from the great river. But you would also see animals bathing in it, people washing clothes in pots in it, and worse, you would see where the sewage and waste from households is directed. The Nile is the source of all life, but it is also a vast, slow-moving soup of biological matter. The Egyptians, through millennia of exposure, built up tolerances to certain bacteria that your sterile, modern gut flora cannot fathom. For you, a single cup of unfiltered, unboiled Nile water would almost certainly be a ticket to a violent, debilitating gastrointestinal catastrophe. Dysentery, cholera, parasites like guinea worm, these were constant companions. You would feel cramps, a terrifying weakness, and spend what feels like an eternity in the crude, fly-infested privacy of a limestone slab with a hole placed over a pit. Dehydration would set in rapidly, weakening you further. Your body, used to fighting pathogens with the help of modern medicine, would be utterly defenseless. Your hunger would be a different kind of trial. The Egyptian diet was nutritious, but monotonous, and its preparation and presentation would offend your modern palate. The staple was bread, but this is not the soft, airy, clean loaf you know. Egyptian bread was made from emmer wheat or barley, ground on coarse quern stones. These stones shed tiny fragments of sand and grit into the flour. Every bite of bread carried with it a subtle, inevitable crunch that, over a lifetime, ground down tooth enamel to the pulp. Archaeologists find countless skulls with severe dental abrasion and abscesses from this constant low-level contamination. You would bite into a flatbread and feel the grit scrape against your teeth, a sensation so unpleasant you might avoid eating altogether. And that's if you're lucky. The bread, stored in warm, humid conditions, was often contaminated with mycotoxins from mold or ergot fungus, which could cause hallucinations, convulsions, or a burning sensation in the limbs, known as St. Anthony's fire. The protein sources are no more comforting. Fish from the Nile, dried in the sun, swarming with flies. It is salty, bony, and tastes profoundly of mud. There is wild fowl, perhaps, but it is stringy and gamey. Meat from cattle, sheep, or goats was a luxury for festivals, and preserving it without refrigeration meant it was often eaten in a state of advanced fermentation or heavily salted. You might be offered a stew of vegetables, onions, leeks, garlic, cucumbers, lentils, but it would be cooked in a pottery vessel over a dung-fueled fire, seasoned with salt and maybe some cumin or coriander, but otherwise bereft of the complex flavors you're used to. And forget about utensils. You eat with your hands, which you have likely washed in the Nile, from a shared bowl. The concept of individual plates is largely absent. The feeling of grease and grit coating your fingers, the communal dipping, the ever-present flies landing on the food the moment it is uncovered, your modern sense of hygiene would scream in silent horror. Speaking of hygiene, let us address the body. You feel gritty. Your skin is coated in a fine layer of sand and sweat. There is no shower, no soap as you know it. Cleansing involves rubbing your body with a paste of natron, a naturally occurring mixture of sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, and salt harvested from dry lake beds, or with a cake of crushed clay and ash. It is abrasive and leaves a strange, slick feeling on the skin. Then you rinse in the Nile, trading one form of grime for potentially pathogenic water. For your teeth, you might be given a frayed twig from the Salvadora persica tree, a chew stick, to rub against your teeth. It's better than nothing, but it does not remove the grit from the bread. Your hair, if long, becomes a nest for lice. The standard solution for all classes was to shave the head and wear elaborate wigs, which themselves, made of human hair or plant fibers, could become infested if not regularly cleaned. The feeling of a shorn scalp under a heavy, itchy wig in the blistering heat is another small, constant misery. And the insects. You cannot escape them. Flies are a biblical plague, attracted to food, waste, sweat, and the river. They crawl on your eyes, your lips, the corners of your mouth as you try to sleep. At night, mosquitoes rise from the riverbanks. You have no screened windows, no mosquito netting that is truly effective. Their whine is a constant soundtrack to the evening, and their bites raise itchy welts on your skin. But worse than the itch is the silent, deadly threat they carry: malaria. The parasite Plasmodium falciparum was endemic to the region. The fevers, the chills, the cycles of sweating and freezing, this was a common cause of death. You, with no immunity, would be a prime target. Lice, fleas from the pets and livestock that live in close quarters, and grain weevils in the food stores complete the picture. Your skin would be a landscape of bites, scratches, and rashes. You would be weak, thirsty, nauseous, and itchy. But now, you must work. Unless you are of the elite, idleness is not an option. The Egyptian state, a vast bureaucratic machine, ran on taxation and corvée labor. As a peasant, your life is tied to the inundation. When the Nile floods, you might be conscripted for state projects. Imagine being handed a stone pounder and set to work in a quarry, under the sun, smashing at limestone for hours to make bricks.
Or you are put on a crew hauling a multi-ton stone block on a wooden sledge, pouring water and mud in front of it to reduce friction, heaving on ropes until your hands are raw blisters and your back feels permanently bent. The overseer carries a stick. Efficiency is measured in whiplashes. There is no workers' rights commission, no safety regulations. A slipped stone, a frayed rope, a moment of dizziness from the heat, and you are crushed, maimed, or killed. Your family would receive a grain ration as compensation, and you would be replaced before your body is cold.
Perhaps you are assigned to farm. The work is backbreaking. After the flood waters recede, you scatter seed by hand over the thick black silt. Then you must drive herds of sheep or pigs over the field to trample the seed into the mud, as the simple wooden plow is often not sufficient. You spend days bent double, weeding under the sun. You operate a shadoof, a counterweighted irrigation lever, in a relentless, rhythmic cycle to lift water from the canal to the field, your muscles burning with the repetition. Your hands develop deep, permanent calluses. Your joints ache with a stiffness that never truly fades. At harvest time, you use a sickle made of sharpened flint blades set into a wooden handle, cutting the stalks one handful at a time. It is slow, meticulous, and exhausting. And at the end of the season, the tax assessors arrive, measuring your yield. Take too much for yourself, and the punishment is severe. This brings us to the law, a concept you profoundly misunderstand. You come from a world with notions of precedent, advocacy, and nuanced intent. Egyptian law was administered by local councils, kenbet, or by the vizier, the pharaoh's chief minister. It was swift, harsh, and overwhelmingly practical. Its primary goal was not philosophical justice, but the maintenance of order, ma'at, and the restitution of property. For theft, the punishment could be restitution many times over, beatings or mutilation, the cutting off of a hand, a nose, or an ear. A common punishment for many crimes was a public, brutal beating with a rod, where the number of strokes, often 100 or 200, was specified in the verdict. You could be impaled on a stake for grave crimes like tomb robbery or rebellion. There are no lawyers to argue mitigating circumstances. Your guilt or innocence might be determined by oath or by a kind of divine ordeal. You have no rights in the modern sense. You are a subject, a piece of the state's machinery. A false accusation, a moment of anger, a desperate theft of food, any of these could lead to a pain so extreme and disfiguring it would shatter your modern psyche. Let's say you avoid the law. The social structure itself is a prison. Society is a rigid pyramid. At the top, the pharaoh, a god king. Below him, the nobles, priests, and scribes. Then, soldiers, artisans, and farmers. At the very bottom, slaves. Though slavery in Egypt was often more like indentured servitude and not always hereditary. You cannot move between these strata. You are born into your role. If your father is a farmer, you are a farmer. If he is a potter, you are a potter. The only potential ladder is the scribal profession, but learning the hundreds of hieroglyphic or hieratic signs takes years of dedicated, privileged study. Your modern education is irrelevant. Your ability to read a novel or solve an algebraic equation is a useless parlor trick. Your value is determined by your physical labor output and your obedience. Your opinions on governance, religion, or social equity are not only irrelevant, they are dangerous. Expressing them could be seen as disturbing ma'at, the cosmic order, and thus an act of treason. The psychological weight of this absolute lack of agency, of being a cog with no hope of ever being anything else, would be crushingly oppressive. You would also be utterly, profoundly disoriented by their worldview. The ancient Egyptian lived in a universe permeated by the divine and the magical, Heka. Every sunrise was Ra's victory over the serpent of chaos, Apophis. The Nile flooded because the goddess Isis wept for her murdered husband, Osiris. A sudden illness was not a germ, but the wrath of a neglected household god or the work of a malicious spirit. Protection came not from medicine, but from amulets, spells, and rituals. You would see people wearing eye paint not just for beauty, but because the malachite, green, and galena, black, had antibacterial properties they didn't scientifically understand, attributing its power to the gods Horus and Ra. If you fell ill, a doctor-priest might recite a spell over a concoction of herbs and dung. It might even work through placebo or the incidental medicinal properties of the plants, but to you, it would seem like hopeless superstition. Your skepticism would isolate you. Your desire for a rational explanation would mark you as strange, possibly cursed.
The noise, or rather the particular quality of sound, would be a constant irritant. It is not the white noise of a city, but a more intimate, pervasive cacophony. The grinding of quernstones from every household at dawn, the constant thud of pestles in mortars, the bleating of goats, the lowing of cattle, the braying of donkeys, the high-pitched shouts of children at play with clay toys or sticks, the rhythmic chipping of stonemasons, the slap of mud brick being thrown into molds, and the human voice, always loud, carrying over distances without the dampening effect of soft furnishings. There is no true silence, no private, quiet space to retreat into your own thoughts. Even the night is alive with the sounds of barking dogs, nocturnal animals, and the rustling of pests in the thatch roof.
Time itself feels different. It is measured by the sun's passage, by the 3 seasons of the Nile, inundation, emergence, harvest, by the lunar month. There are no precise minutes, no schedules to keep in that sense. Yet the agricultural and religious calendars dictate a relentless, cyclical pace. You wake with the light, work until the heat peaks, rest, work again until dusk, and sleep when it is dark. The length of a day expands and contracts with the seasons. Your internal clock, trained by artificial light and strict hourly divisions, would be hopelessly out of sync. You would feel either a dragging lethargy or a frantic, unproductive anxiety.
Consider something as simple as getting a splinter or a cut. In your world, you wash it, apply antiseptic, maybe a bandage. Here, the cut, exposed to dirt and Nile water, rapidly becomes inflamed. It swells, reddens, throbs with heat. Pus forms. A fever may follow. An infection that a simple course of antibiotics would vanquish becomes a life-threatening crisis. The medical papyri show the Egyptians had advanced knowledge for their time. They could set bones, perform simple surgeries, and use honey, a natural antibiotic, and willow bark, a source of salicin, related to aspirin, for pain. But they had no concept of germ theory. Sepsis was a common killer. A minor injury you would shrug off today could be your end in a week of agonizing fever and delirium. Sleep, the very thing we are trying to court now, would be a struggle. Your bed is a simple wooden frame with a lattice of woven rope or a mat on the floor. Your pillow is not soft. It is a headrest carved from wood, stone, or ivory, designed to keep your elaborate hairstyle or wig intact. It cradles your neck, but the sensation is one of firm, unyielding support, not cloud-like comfort. You share your sleeping space with family members. The air is still and warm. Mosquitoes whine. Bedbugs or fleas might inhabit the straw of the mat. You drift off to the sounds of the household, the village, the wilderness just beyond the fragile mud brick wall.
Your sleep is light, fragmented, and rarely truly restorative. And through all of this, you are anonymous. You have no identity documents, no social security number, no digital footprint. To the state, you are a unit of labor, a taxpayer, a potential conscript. Your name is recorded only on a tax roll, or if you are fortunate, on a simple offering stela in a local shrine. Your life, your struggles, your thoughts, your unique modern perspective, they leave no mark. The monuments that will last for millennia are not for you. They are for the gods and the pharaoh. You are part of the anonymous multitude that built civilization, but you are not its beneficiary in any way you would recognize. This existential invisibility, the sheer scale of your insignificance in the grand, timeless scheme of the Nile and the desert, would be perhaps the most profound shock of all. You would long for the simple, unseen miracles of your lost world. A glass of clean, cold water, the hum of a refrigerator, the soft embrace of a foam mattress, the sterile bandage on a wound, the privacy of a locked door, the silent, insect-free darkness of a sealed room, the freedom to choose what you do with your day, the assurance that a toothache can be fixed without agony, that a fever can be broken with a pill, that your person is sovereign and protected by laws you had a hand in shaping. These are the pillars of your reality, and in ancient Egypt, every single one of them is absent.
So, as you lie here now, in your comfortable bed, in the quiet dark, let your mind wander to that other world. Not to the gold of Tutankhamun or the majesty of the pyramids, but to the gritty reality, the crunch of sand in your bread, the weight of the sun, the buzz of the fly, the ache in your back from the shadoof, the fear in your gut from a sip of water, the sheer exhausting effort of every single action required just to persist for another day. Your body is too soft. Your immune system is too naive. Your mind is too independent. Your expectations are too high. You are a creature of a soft, sterile, and miraculously convenient age, placed into the most efficient, beautiful, and brutally demanding civilization of the ancient world. You wouldn't last a day.
And as that thought settles over you, as you feel the profound safety of your own time and place, let your breathing slow. Feel the clean sheets. Hear the quiet. You are safe. You are here. And the heat of the Egyptian sun, the thirst, the grit, they are just stories, fading now into the dark and the quiet, letting you drift deeper and deeper into a sleep that is peaceful and earned in a world far removed from the unyielding demands of the Nile, where rest was a brief respite, not a guaranteed right. Just breathe and let it all go. The past is a foreign country, and you have no visa to stay. So simply return to the comfort of now, to the softness of your own rest, where nothing is required of you but to breathe and sleep. you.